This is the Onyx Boox Note Air 2 Plus. Onyx sent this to me earlier in the year, probably when they realized I was about to review the Kindle Scribe and they wanted to get it in my hands to, so I could tell you about it, because this device is actually kind of interesting. And what makes it interesting is it is an Android e-ink tablet. This device actually gets you a lot of the benefits that you get with other e-ink tablets like the Kindle Scribe. For example, battery life being one of them. The battery life on this thing, it can last me 1 to 2 months of continuous use, which is crazy for an Android tablet. One of the things I really like, it's a solid metal aluminum construction, very similar to the Kindle Scribe, even though this device came out before the Kindle Scribe. You have a magnetic pen that just attaches right to the side of it, though I would say its magnets are not as strong as what I find with the Kindle Scribe. And the pen, while I like that there's an indentation for your finger to kind of rest here, and there's no shortcut button to accidentally press, which I did do when I first got my Kindle Scribe, the material that the pen is made out of is just not as grippy as what Amazon did with the Kindle Scribe, which I prefer. Also, like the Kindle Scribe, you have an eraser button. This is the premium pen that Onyx sells. I definitely think it is always worth it to get a pen with the eraser button. It's just a more natural, intuitive experience. Just flip the thing over and erase, just kind of like you're used to with a regular pencil. One of the big benefits you get when going with this over another e-ink tablet is for note-taking specifically, Onyx just has way more options. I'm just opening this notebook up right now. You have things like layers. You can change the canvas size. You can draw shapes on here. They have a lasso tool, which now the Kindle Scribe has as well. There's a text-to-speech AI feature. Like, they have baked so many things into the notebook on the side here that is really nice for power users who want to be able to have more flexibility than what you find on something like the Kindle Scribe, which is a little bit more simplistic. The only thing I knock Onyx for here is they kind of just drop you in here and they don't really explain how any of it works. So if you're someone who is not as into technology, good luck figuring out all of this stuff on your own. Now, it's not hard, but it is time consuming to figure out kind of what everything does and push a bunch of buttons. Like, some of their terminology here doesn't quite mean and translate to what it actually does. AI recognition, for example, is another thing. Like, it is using machine learning, so I guess it's kind of AI, but I wouldn't necessarily think that's what that feature is by just looking at AI on a processor icon here. But the speech-to-text feature overall seems to work like relatively well, actually, on here. I've got to give Onyx props. Like, I've used this and gone through my notes before. Another cool thing the AI feature does is it actually recognizes when, like, you're checking off stuff on a list. It actually brought that over in the AI recognition feature, which is very, very cool, very good. And for some people who just want to write notes and, like, literally that's all they want is for this thing to replace pen and paper, a lot of these features I think are going to be overkill, and something like the Kindle Scribe is more simplistic. Unfortunately, though, the main reason why I don't use it as my main note-taking device is the startup time. Half the time with this device, it's turned off. There are settings where you can lengthen how long it'll stay in standby mode, and when it goes into standby mode, it is much quicker to turn on. But once this device is off and you need to turn it on to, like, jot down a quick thought or something, it takes like 35 seconds to power up to the point where you can get into a notebook, which is just way too long for something that you're trying to replace regular pen and paper with. And that's compared to the Kindle Scribe, which takes like a second or two to boot up and get into the notebooks. It's much quicker. And that's the reason why I personally wouldn't recommend this for note-taking. If you are somebody like me who wants to be able to just get into a notebook, jot something down quickly, and then get back out and go do something else, right? You're not going to be able to start this thing up as quick as a Kindle Scribe. Now, another thing, comparing this thing to the Kindle Scribe, that I absolutely think Onyx did a terrible job with is the case they sent me. This case is absolutely awful in terms of build quality. It's one of those snap cases, so it's just this crappy plastic that they built with it, and you got to take the thing and just kind of snap it in, which works fine. But then, like, look at the build quality here. They just have these, like, it's not even magnetic. It's like a sticky tab that just closes in on it. not a fan of that. Overall, it's just kind of like made out of this, I think this is a fake leather material, maybe real leather. I don't know. I'm not big into leather either way. You do have the ability to prop it up in a kind of configuration there, but overall, I wouldn't say this is the best case I've ever seen for one of these e-ink displays. And the worst thing about it is getting the Onyx books out of this case is like, I feel like I'm gonna break the plastic on it each time. Like you can do it, but got the two corners here like out, but then the other two are still in there, and I'm just like, okay, it worked. I wish the construction used magnets here. That would feel a little bit more premium. This kind of feels cheap to me. The case, though, when you close it, will put the Onyx books into standby mode, so at least they did get that right. Now, another big differentiator with this product over other e-ink tablets is you have access to the Play Store. And having access to the Play Store is actually one of my favorite things about the Onyx. So for example, I can actually put the Kindle app on here. So if I have a book I want to read or something, or if I just want to have my same Kindle experience with a larger screen, but allow me to do more with note-taking as well as getting Android apps on here, that is something you can do. I also have downloaded news apps. I think e-ink screens are just way easier on your eyes than something like an iPad or computer display, especially if you're trying to read late at night and you don't want to read on something that's emitting a lot of light into your eyes. And I've got a video coming out that'll explain how to sleep better with smart lights. But one of the things I talk about in that video is when you have a device that shines a lot of bright, any type of light into your eyes, it suppresses melatonin production, which is what kind of signals to your brain that you're ready to fall asleep. And so that's why I prefer e-ink devices. And for this device, I can put all of my regular news reading apps I have on my Android phone on here. So New York Times, Wall Street Journal, I use Pocket to save articles, right? You can do all of that on here. And like the app experience, because it is an e-ink screen, like it's not great, a little slow to load. Obviously, you're not going to watch a video on here because the screen refresh rate of e-ink devices just is not good enough still to be able to watch videos or do a lot. And even when you scroll here, right, you see that there's like quite a bit of lag. There's quite a bit of lag when you scroll. But it does allow you to get into your news and magazine content and read it on an e-ink display, which is one of my favorite use cases for this device. And that's one of my major knocks on the Kindle Scribe and all Kindle devices is I think it's just very hard to get news and magazine content onto those devices. And because this is an Android tablet, you get other Android features as well, like split screen, and you can also sync Bluetooth devices to this. So yes, you can listen to audio via this device. Now, one of the only other features I wish this had compared to the Kindle Scribe is an auto light that has a display temperature sensor that just automatically ramps up and down the light guide here. I wish it had that in here. It doesn't seem to, although you do get an adjustable warm and cool light, which is really nice. And you do have the ability to customize gestures. So for example, you can put a navigation bar on the bottom that you may be used to from your Android device. That works really well. And you can sync your notes and files that you put on this device to Dropbox, Google Drive, and Microsoft OneDrive. So that's been my thoughts after 6 months on the Onyx Boox Note Air 2 Plus. I think overall, if you're just looking for a device that is an e-ink display that you can read books on, that you can also do as a note-taking device, and you don't need a lot of the features I talked about in here, you just want it to replace like a notepad you're using at work, I would recommend going with the Kindle Scribe just because its startup time is much better than this device. And overall, I think this Kindle Scribe's build quality and pen is a bit nicer than this device as well. However, if you are someone who sees the benefit of using an e-ink display, but you like the idea you can download news, magazines, apps, and any apps you can get on the Google Play Store, this would be a pretty good device to get. And if you want to see more content on e-ink devices, tablets, Kindles, etc., make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And to see more of our content on tablets and e-readers, you can get to those by clicking on the playlist above. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.